These insights brought to you by SETA.
Well, we have two scenarios. The one we call hard times, it's where the world only recovers around about 2013, 2014, because this whole problem of debt, which triggered the recession, hasn't gone away. And indeed, it's deepened because whereas governments could bail out banks, it's very difficult to persuade taxpayers in a country that your government is going to bail out another country, such as Angela Merkel having to say to German taxpayers, we're going to bail out the Greeks for the euro. And then you end up in a kind of agreement which I think has an ABBA theme about it, bailing you, bailing me. We have to sort of all bail each other out. And I think this could take years to work through, and it could be that the recovery really only occurs in 2013, 2014. It's called a hard times U-shaped scenario. But of course, you can't just bet on that scenario. You have to look at a V, and there are possibilities for a recovery. You can see in America that business is now beginning to earn decent profits again. But the two flags which would indicate a real V is taking hold are down. One is a drop in unemployment rate in America for a period of 2 to 3 months, significant drop in unemployment. And the second is a drop in debt, consumer debt, company debt and government debt, and that hasn't happened. So at the moment I give an 80% probability to a hard times, long slog scenario, and only a 20% chance to the kind of recovery envisaged by the markets at the moment.
The world economy is changing, moving its focus from the west to the east. What is your view on that?
Well, what's happening is, of course, that people are turning east because that's where the fastest growing markets are. And I always talk about the Asian trading bloc of India, China, Japan, the Asian tigers, Australia and New Zealand. If you actually add up the value of the GDP of that trading bloc, it's close to America, because America is a $14 trillion economy. Japan is 6, China is 5.5, so you've got 11.5 trillion between those two, and probably the rest is around about 2.5 trillion. So naturally, people are changing their markets to the east. And as I said in my lecture, General Motors has, for the last 3 months, sold more cars in China than they have in America. So they have to change their slogan to what's good for China is good for General Motors. But that's what's happening, is that, thank heavens we have a motor that is still continuing to drive the global economy, and that is the economies in the East. I think America's okay. I think, you never discount the Americans. They are coming out of a recession. The problem, child, is Europe and how they're going to hold the euro together. Because, the Germans can't like a currency that's devaluing at the rate that it is, because yes, they can export more stuff to the rest of the world. I mean, they are the second largest exporter after China, I think, at the moment in the global economy. So, their goods have become cheaper. But I know that Angela Merkel doesn't want their inflation rate to rise because of the rising cost of imports. So there's a tension building up in the European Union between the countries to the north and the countries to the south. And I'm not sure how that's going to be resolved.
These insights brought to you by SETA.